Well, it is an un gee, I don't even know how to start this except to say that it's very unfortunate what we see on the screen right now. This has hit me from several different people. And I think we just should read what we've got here, although I know that a lot of us have probably heard a lot of it, but let's just get right into it. We do see that President Donald Trump has announced that the United States has bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. He says, quote, "We've completed our very successful attack on the nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Efeshan." The president wrote on Truth Social, saying, quote, "Continuing, all planes are now outside of Iran's airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. Fordo and Natanz both house uranium enrichment centers, while Efeshan is where Iran is believed to be keeping near bomb grade enriched uranium. According to the New York Times, the Fordo fuel enrichment plant is buried deep underground, heavily fortified, and expected to contain 2,700 centrifuges, which are essential for uranium enrichment. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors, Trump added. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Then it goes ahead here and it picks up by letting us know exactly, what went on beforehand and how we got here. It tells us here Israel launched attacks against Iran on June 13th, claiming the country was on the verge of developing nuclear weapons. Iran then retaliated with its own series of airstrikes. The two countries have continued to trade attacks since. At least 657 people have been killed in Iran, with another 2,037 wounded, according to the Associated Press reports. Now, I just got off of a message with, I just sent a message out to Roy, and he wanted me to quote you guys, to give you a quote from him. And this is particular because he is in a place right now where it's too loud. He really can't come on live with us, but he did say, quote, "Trump just proved everything I
Hey
have
guys,
said
Haley here at
about
High
him." And
Country
then
Toyota. We're ready to make this.
he goes on to say, quote, "Trump just proved everything I have said about him." And then he has in all caps, everything. That's from Roy Potter. He says that he's in a place and he's sorry, but he can't talk right now, but you can quote me on what I just text you. So that's from Roy. And I think it proves to everybody exactly what we know, but to be so callous as to come back and say something like, "Thanks for your time. Oh, okay, that's wonderful. All righty, gotta go." So I want to take a look at the particular areas that were hit. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I'm going to see if I still have the documents, because I had already put together the significance of Natanz and the significance of the other locations that were hit and why they were so important. Let me see if I can still find them, because I have done so many other stories since then as far as my writing is concerned. Let me see. Is this it? I don't know. Is this it? I don't know. But I will tell you that it was enough for me to be really concerned. Because what I had done was, once I started looking through and got myself familiarized with the reason for them having, all of this going on, I thought to myself, well, that is really not healthy for us to even think about touching or hitting something like that. That's not even smart. Well, I think if you guys remember the conversation that I had the other day with Roy, we were both saying that, it's more like Depop, if anything, all war is. But really, seriously, if you look at it, this is exactly what they would want in order for this type of stuff to go all around the world. And in order for you to have that type of radiation and that type of fallout really up close, and then possibly, even further out, Then, here's the funny thing. I just got through hearing about a rumor where somebody was saying, well, there's going to be a really bad wind coming from the area of Africa. Africa's going to have some real bad wind blowing it this way. And if there's anything that happens, it's going to be a sickness that they put out. I said, that's not no sickness. If anything, it's radiation. If anything, it's going to be radiation. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. And they'll tell you that because, well, radiation sickness does look a lot like, a flu or a really bad illness. Yeah, it does. Of course it does. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to go on ahead and look at Nantans for you. And I want you to see this because I put these three together. Okay. All right. All three of them together. Maybe I can just give you guys one of them, the significance of them. The funny thing about it is that I honestly didn't even think that it was going to be something that I wanted to even talk about. I really didn't think that we were going to really, really, really go here. But just the callous way that this cat ended that, see you later, thanks for your time, tells me, I don't know who it is that's running the show, but somebody is running the show and they don't have their chunkles together. Somebody is running the show and I don't know who would ever finish out a sentence. Let me go back over here to this sentence. Let me go back over here and see this sentence again. That it would actually have the audacity to say, where is it? Right here. This joker literally said, and that's a good word for him. This joker literally said, see you later. Thanks for your time. Who would ever say that? What is really going on? Well, I tell you what's going on. What we always knew all along. What we always knew all along. And that was that this place is being run by a group of individuals that we will never see. We won't ever see them. Ever. Ever. For him to actually leave and say, thanks for your time, goodbye, that's terrible. What kind of person says that? What kind of leader says that? He even tweeted, or shall I say he X'd, we have completed our very successful attack on 3 of the nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, Efeshan, and all the planes are now outside of Iran's airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Who typed that? Who typed that? Who would be so childish as to say that? We just unleashed a whole bunch of radiation on a whole bunch of people, not only in that neighboring state and city and countries all around it, but it'll be over the way here. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Are you happy? Yeah, they really are. They really are. We are in trouble. And for everybody who ridiculed when I said I was no longer going to be a part of the party and not going to vote and not deal with any of that stuff because I knew that there was some trash going on. And you guys, especially family members, were sending me messages and calling me, talking about, that's not nice. You have a very big voice and people are going to follow that. Well, I hope they do, but I hope they think for themselves, first of all. I don't want them to do it because I'm doing it. I want them to do it because they've thought for themselves and they've done the research and they see that it doesn't matter who's around. If they want to fight, baby, they're going to fight. If they want to fight, they're going to fight. This is not about nuclear anything. This is about the fallout that they'll get because of doing what they've done and in the hopes to push us to World War III. That's the hopes. The hope is that that's where we'll end, just in a constant fight, in a constant battle. That's the hope. Because if you're in a constant battle, and especially with the warmongering individuals who have something to do with this, you've got to understand one important thing, and that is that they love being at war. They've been at war for centuries. They've been at war for hundreds of years. It's what they do. They fund both sides. They get high off of both sides. It's not just one side they get high on. They get high off their own supply, because they will supply you not only with the money to fund your side and the weaponry on the one side, they'll do the same for the opposite side. They're like somebody who goes to the casino and puts some money down on a football team and votes on both sides, bets on both sides. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, I've done that. I've gone to the casino and I've said, okay, I'll take, this one and this one will parlay on both sides just to see what happens. Yeah, you won't take me. Right. You won't take me. Okay. All right. So homeboy is scheduled to go and have a conversation, and it's going to be in about, 30 minutes of our time here Central. I think I want to listen to this, even though I really don't care for these people or any of them. Let me go on ahead and just pull them up for you so that we can all share it together. But that's exactly what we're looking at. So let's go on ahead and get this in.
Israel on the ground. I just want to reiterate, this is a huge moment in that President Donald Trump has authorized, and the U.S. military has just pulled off, strikes inside Iran at 3 different nuclear sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. The word coming from President Trump's Truth Social that the bombers were outside of Iranian airspace, that the payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. As you look at the map there, I want to go live on the ground to Trey Yingst, chief foreign correspondent, about reaction there on the ground, what the Israelis are saying, plus what you think this fallout may be.
Yeah, Brett, good evening. This has been the talk of Israel for the past several days as the country waited to see if the Americans would get directly involved in the conflict. And even up in the last few hours, I was talking with current and former sources, trying to get an understanding of when this might happen. And at 1:55 local time, one source said, rumors, Trump gave the word, supposed to be happening now. We were working on tracking it down, and the president taking to Truth Social to say the Americans did indeed strike 3 separate Iranian nuclear facilities, including the Fordow nuclear facility deep underground outside of the Iranian capital of Tehran. The bottom line here is that people are talking about enrichment. They understand that this decision was made because the Iranians were increasing their uranium enrichment capabilities and increasing the purity closer and closer to weapons-grade material. And the concern was that the Iranian regime was just weeks away from being able to build a nuclear bomb. We've seen over the past 9 days, the country has the ability to strike major population centers here in Israel with ballistic missiles. So you can imagine that having a nuclear warhead that could ultimately be attached to a ballistic missile would clearly be a direct threat to the Jewish state. And that was why the Israelis said that they made the decision to start these strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities and against top IRGC officials. And clearly tonight, President Trump ordering these strikes against the Iranian regime's nuclear program because there was no off-ramp for diplomacy at this point. There was that 60-day window that President Trump gave the Iranians to come to the table, 5 rounds of conversations, most of them taking place in Oman, with Steve Witkoff, President Trump's Middle East envoy, other top American officials meeting directly and indirectly with their Iranian counterparts, but the Iranians did not want to finish a deal. And ultimately, the decision was made by Israel to launch this operation that has led to a war developing between the two countries. And then again, tonight, the Americans getting directly involved, launching these strikes with those bombers over Iranian territory. We will certainly learn more information as daylight comes tomorrow in the region. But the bottom line here is that a decision was made that will change the reality of the current war between Israel and Iran, and possibly create a scenario where the Iranians really have no other option than to give in, because the president has hit them so hard with these strikes, and the Israelis are continuing to take out their top military leadership, that the country is in a state of disarray. And so the bottom line here is that these strikes tonight show not only solidarity with the American ally in the Middle East, Israel, but also they show that the region is at a crossroads here. There are clear decisions that will have to be made by the regime officials that are still alive and by the country's supreme leader and the country's president, Masoud Pezeshkian. And so certainly more hours ahead, we'll learn that information. But again, the bottom line tonight is that the decision was made by President Trump to take out, in effect, these nuclear facilities that the Iranians were using to enrich uranium closer and closer to weapons grade material. You might remember back during the nuclear deal that President Trump pulled out of in 2018, the Iranians were enriching uranium at 3.67%. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, they were enriching uranium close to 60% purity, getting very, very close to a weapons grade purity, which would give them the component that they would need to create a nuclear weapon. And so this is a historic moment in the Middle East tonight. And again, an opportunity for the region, as the president laid out in his statement, for peace in the future, because this is a region that understands peace through strength. Brett.
Yes, that's definitely true. Trey, stand by.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to.
Okay, so now we see that, but let's just get down to some of the brass tacks, some of the information that I stated that I wanted to share with you. We've got about 25 minutes before the president actually goes live. If he, I believe that the time that they're going is DC time, which is Eastern. So for me, I'm Central. So we've got a few minutes. But these are not just facilities. They're living symbols of Iran's technological ambitions, the diplomatic tensions, and the strategic defenses. The understanding of these profiles gives you guys a real insight into the stakes behind the global headlines, right? So behind everything that we could be talking about right now, this is of urgent importance to understand not just some of the things that, people are saying about what they believe this is going to mean. I want to, as I normally do, take you down a little bit. Now, there is some strategic importance about Fordo. Now, it's deeply buried into a mountain, and it enacts Iran's high-grade uranium enrichment. Now, that's making it one of the most fortified nuclear sites, not just with them, but in the world. So that's important to understand that. Very important to understand. So once we get that in our mind, then we have to also understand that as the United States strike marks a direct American military intervention alongside of Israel's, hotbed of opinion, this ongoing campaign is now signaling a major shift in regional conflict. That's what this is doing. I need you to understand that's what's going on. So it's not just he went in and he hit Iran. No, this is shaking the entire region. And I'm going to tell you something. If a couple of other players decide that they want to join in the reindeer games, this could be a real big problem for the entire world. Now, he just went on back, strutting his stuff. All right. Just strutting like George Jefferson, that little strut that he had when he think he's bad. Right. But he doesn't understand what is really going to happen. Everybody feels like, oh, well, big deal. Anybody that comes our way, we'll just go ahead and handle them. Really? This move is receiving so many mixed reactions right now. You've got the United States being praised by some of the Republicans, and some of them are just indecisive altogether. But there are others that are criticizing, not just some Democrats. There's also, people like Bernie Sanders, obviously, Rashida Tlaib, saying that it's risky and unconstitutional. And I venture to say that they're not wrong. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm on either side of the fence, but I do know the difference between what's right and what's wrong and what's good and what's bad. Now, Israel made a statement. If you guys remember at the top of the week, I believe it was the top of this past week, there was a soundbite of Benjamin Netanyahu making a statement saying the U.S. they know to do what's good for them. Basically, you better roll with me. Because if you don't roll with me, it's going to be major problems. Why? Because if you look at every single person that's in our Congress and in our Senate, the majority of our senators of Congress are major job holders, I should say, the major cabinet people. They're all from over yonder. Every one of them. They all have dual citizenship with that place over there. So you don't have much of a choice but to do what they say when you done sold yourself out. I mean, remember that passage that talks about, Israel having a whore's forehead? Well, that may be this one right here for sure. It's not necessarily the real people, but it's definitely this one showing that they are just easily paid. They pay off everybody to just come onto their whims. Now, the Israeli strikes have already damaged the air defenses, though Fordo at that time was fortified because it was so deep. All right. Now, they're going to tell us that it was hit, but I do know that all the top structures were hit. God help us if the underground core was hit. All right. That's the question. Will the underground core of Fordo survive? Now, Iran originally used its depth to protect it, but there have been some recent photos that have been circulating around and some statements that are still being analyzed right now, trying to look at it and see, is it real? Is it fake? Is it live? Is it Memorex? I want everybody to understand that you had better expect escalated regional tensions because Iran has already vowed retaliation. And the international community is going to definitely be closely watching. Legal challenges here in the United States may arise regarding the need for congressional approval for military action here. So yes, Fordo was hit, and that is a critical escalation. Very much so. Very much so. So I wanted to come on as soon as everybody started hitting me with it. I just said, well, I was going to just make it out a video, but I said, no. Let's just go on ahead and let's just put it out there right now. Okay. This is very important breaking edition of our program here. And so this is a big moment in history, in my impression, that has unfolded. And this is for the first time ever the United States has directly struck the Fordo nuclear facility in Iran. I want all of you guys to just let that sink in for a minute, okay? Because it's not just one or two publications. We just got through hearing it from Fox News. We just got through reading it from a couple of other news articles that we pulled up. So we do know that according to more than just a couple of outlets, and we do know that this is confirmed, including the statement from Mr. Naranga. I had never thought that we would have the use of stealth bombers carry out a coordinated attack on 3 of Iran's most sensitive nuclear sites. Again, Natanz, Isfahan, and the nearly impenetrable Fordo. Now, again, for those of you who are coming in, Fordo is not just any facility. Again, as we said at the top, for those who are just coming in, it's buried deep inside of a mountain near the holy city of Qom. And it's designed to survive airstrikes. It's designed to preserve Iran's ability to enrich uranium even under threat. And yet today, it was hit. This marks a dramatic shift in the geopolitical climate. It really does. Because up until now, strikes on Iran's nuclear programs were mostly covert, okay? Mostly surgical in nature and often attributed to things like cyber attacks or the Israeli drones like we saw not long ago. But this right here, this is the first time that the United States has openly acknowledged a direct military strike. President Trump called the operation a success, stating that all the bombers returned safely after delivering a full payload. Meanwhile, Iran's state media has confirmed the damage of that Fordo site, including, get this, key infrastructure that was thought to be nearly impenetrable. Experts are now questioning, I'm only imagining, that they're questioning just how deep that damage truly went. And the world is watching very, very closely. This event may well redefine the balance of power in the region and escalate tension in ways that few were prepared to see unfold this quickly. Now, you guys, as always, I'm going to continue to follow this story with precision and with peace, no sensationalism, just the facts, with room for us to breathe and reflect. I don't know. I just don't know, you guys. I am so happy that you guys are here. I'm very happy that you guys are allowing me to be myself and to give you the information that I understand and that I know. There's not really, there's no way to look at this other than to ask the question, why? Like I said last week, we were already at meeting 5 when this started. Okay. We were already on meeting 5, and meeting 6 was to have been that Sunday. So this tells me that this is not going to end well. Now, I do know, and I want to ask you guys, have you heard about Xi Jinping and a possible coup? Has anybody heard about that? Has anybody heard about that? I just heard about that the other day. Huh? Has anyone heard about it? Because when I saw that, I said to myself, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But if that's the case, then it tells me that there is a lot of shifting going on, if there's any truth in that. If there's any truth in that, there's a lot of shifting that's going on, because I also understand that they were saying that the entire Iranian upper echelon had pretty much been wiped out in this last event that happened between Israel and them last week. Those are really important points. Those are important points. And here's why I say that. If there is any validity to the rumor that went down with Xi Jinping, which was very hard for me to even read, okay? If there's any validity in that, and if there's any validity in all of their upper echelon being hidden around, that tells me that that was done from within. Because I know that Major General Hussein Salami, the former IRGC commander-in-chief, between the 13th and the 14th, when Israel launched those precise airstrikes that went over there and hit Iran, they eliminated at least 6 of the top IRGC commanders. That included Salami, Bagheri, Ghulam Ali Rashid, Amir Ali Hijazda. I know that. And there were also 9 of their nuclear scientists that were killed. 9 total. Then on the 21st, which is today, Israel's reported that there is an additional 3 senior IRGC commanders: Saeed Izada, the head of the Palestinian Corps in the Quds Force; Benam, and I hope I'm saying these people's names correctly, Shayehari, that led the weapons transfer unit; and Amin Pour Judaki, the commander of the UAV brigade. Okay. So these things were targeted decapitation strikes aimed at dismantling both their military infrastructure and the nuclear program leadership. Western analysts are now saying that the most significant blow to Iran's strategic command structure since 1979 has happened. The Iranian leader, including the Ayatollah Khamenei, have expressed deep concern. Power dynamics appear shaken through the IRGC, and they all say that they remain resilient. So here's why it matters. The military, this impact is now causing a power vacuum where several top-tier commanders have been eliminated in days. The area of dealing with nuclear is the removal of all of those key scientists and how it could delay Iran's program by several years. So you take out all the cats that know how to do the good stuff, know how to make the mix, the party is over. And from a political standpoint, the IRGC grows more influential, suggesting a harder line policy ahead. So basically, this is the decapitation in Tehran, if I had to give it a name. Iran's power vacuum is basically what we're looking at. Just a series of sweeping blows all throughout the month of June. We're right now with the 21st? Just a series of sweeping blows across June. Israel has managed to shatter Iran's top military and nuclear command. Just think about that. And it means something unique for global security, folks. Each attack has taken out a very strong strategic part of their infrastructure and people who mean business and who were pretty much just going about their daily lives, creating whatever they needed to create, doing whatever it was that they were supposed to do. Here's my question. So are we going to go after everybody who has that capability? Is that what we're doing? Are we going against every single country that has the capability? Are we going to mess with Pakistan? It's the question. Are we just going after everybody, or just the people that are in that region right there where you need to get your thoroughfare through to the west, and as well let a lot of your enemies, family, and the people in that region go? Because that fallout right there is no joke. Remember what we titled the show that we did with Roy the other day? I inevitably settled on Chernobyl. I said 3.0. He said 2.0. And so we named it 2.0. But I truly and honestly do believe that it is going to be Chernobyl all over again, and even more exacerbated. That area has not even recovered from the fallout, now having animals that are unbelievably unique running around, where they're able to take cameras from far distance and zoom in on the city streets there. The fallout is unbelievable. Catastrophic damage. This is amazing. So I want to let everybody know that I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out. We have several of my awesome mods here. Several of you guys. I want to thank you guys for being here, for manning the chat. I want to thank Rachel Van Ziel, One Peaches 41. Thank you so very much for your love offerings just recently. Rachel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. There are several others. I want to thank you as well. Ahal, it's good to see you. Okay. I haven't seen some of my mods in a minute. We all got lives, right? So the stuff we all dealing with one way or another. So I appreciate you guys whenever you can show up. I see Betty R. XX Frank Nitty. Thank you so very much. Josh is one of our newest mods. So I want to thank you as well for being here. Thank you very much. And there's Rage. How you doing there, Rage? It's good to see you. So I appreciate all of you guys for being here. It is really not as flip as he tried to make it when he basically said, thanks for being there. Thanks for, thanks for listening, basically. Toodles. It's not that simple. Homeboy thinks that he can just walk away and everything's going to be all right. Here for the teeth. Thank you very much. Mods, thank you all of my mods. I thank you guys for being here, and everybody else who has supported us. Thank you so much for being here. The world has changed forever, A. Howell says. And whether people understand it or not, A. Howell, that is the truth. It is the truth. You see, this is what I call one of those ways that you can get two birds with one stone, and we'll just say two topics with one rock, right? Because you can hit your enemy, but then you can also take out a whole entire region with the nuclear fallout. Hey, Big Bad Bull, how you doing? It's good to see you. It's just one of those issues that Sarah, what's up? It's just one of those issues, Big Bad Bull. It's one of those issues where you'll find a lot of people with opinions. But here's the thing. Until the United States did what it did today, it really was a situation where you could stand back and say, this is not our fight. This has nothing to do with us, and I hope they get it together. But now it has shown a lot of things on a lot of fronts. First thing is, we see who the United States really does have its allegiance to. Like I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? It also shows you what Trump's main goal and agenda was with all of the visits and everything that he's done to schmooze or to get really close to Israel in his absence of the presidency. Okay, so we see that even when he was not the president, he was still receiving a lot of accolades, right? From Israel. He received that coin, and then he got that plot of land. I think at the end of his last term, he got that large plot of land. He's gotten, gee whiz, goodness, I just can't even begin to tell you everything he's gotten. I mean, he's gotten, he's pretty much low key, and it was a rumor. And I say it was a rumor because when I pulled the document, I only found that one story, and it was almost like nobody else was going to touch this rumor that he had become, that he had, transitioned over to Judaism. And then they had this big thing to try to clean it up, saying, "Oh, no, he's a Christian. He's a devout Christian, really." How does that work for you when you hanging out with Bibi? Yeah. And that is what they're talking about right now, Sandy, is giving him the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, if he didn't already receive it. That was speculation, right? That was speculative, right? Well, listen, folks, as I promised, we've got about 7 minutes for us to get over there and sort of listen to exactly how he is going to explain this whole thing to the American people. All right. He has taken America into a totally different direction. But see, here's the thing. We have to also understand something, that when we as human beings begin to put our trust or our conversation or our eyes and our sights on a human being to, quote unquote, try to save us, we always will end up with this disillusionment. It will always end in disillusionment. Without a shadow of a doubt. I promise it will. Why? Because when you're shouting, "We need a king, we need a king, we need a leader. Oh, help us, help us, help us." You're asking the one who can help you to help you get some other human being to help you. How about going deep within? Helping yourself sometimes. Okay, let's go on over here and see if Trump is ready to speak. I do know that we are a little early and that he was supposed to be talking at, I believe it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, which is a couple of minutes from us now because it's going into, it's 8:53 here Central. So let's just take a look. Okay. Let's just take a look. I really need to see this. I really need to hear what he's got to say. And I want to start it from the top. I don't want to wait and hear, some bottom pieces and all this other stuff or whatever he's got going on. We've got a couple of minutes here. Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes. So until that time, why don't you guys go on ahead and give me any questions that you guys have that I can text Roy and chat with him about if he is able to, which I'm sure he doesn't mind answering a couple of questions. Um, Oh yeah, it was Rage Against the Machine. If you see here on the screen, I'll go ahead and put it up there. Just, like he says, Roy Potter dropped the truth the other night. And I'm so glad, you guys, that we had him on the show when we did, because he foretold some of the stuff that we've all been, looking at. But he did it from a direction of being prior military and having known a lot of the people that are higher up right now. I think we've got something coming on here. Hold on, let's just go ahead and see. All right, there he is holding up that fist. And I don't understand how you can go from, okay, there's notify. I'll just hit the notify, which doesn't matter because we're all good. But I don't understand how you can go from saying that you don't believe in it, no, you're not, you don't want any wars. I was the one that stood up for the war and said that we shouldn't be going over there doing such and such back in the year, thus and such. And now, dude, you've lost all credibility. And for everybody who was out there just gunning for that dude, I mean, they were just hoping that he was just going to be the one. They just knew it. You couldn't tell anybody anything. And then we had the wounded ear and all that other stuff. Okay. You had the wounded ear, you had all of that stuff. All of this stuff was so amazingly trying to walk the fine line of religiosity and the fine line of end time eschatology. It all rode that lane, every inch of it, because they knew all you got to do is get a few people from Hollywood to get them together and make us some scripts. You guys, make us a couple of scripts. Help us out with this. Help us out with that. Let's just put it out there. Help us out with getting the word out, to make everybody believe that this is who we are and this is right and accurate. Next, what are we going to be looking at here? Boy, oh boy. I don't even want to let you know that I've got copy right here, which is what I was recording. I got some copy that is telling everybody exactly why they're clearing out the space the way that they are right now with mankind, because there's going to be a new wave that's coming that's going to require smaller amounts of humans. Did you know that the word herbs stands for urban, but it's a Roman word that talks about the community or the people? Herbs. And then there's another one that starts with a C that means the citizenry or the communita. But these are both Roman words, and these Roman words really are telling you that they need a specific amount of people that they can control and run. Well, that's exactly where we're headed. And I think that right now, the way that we are looking at this situation is probably not as healthy as it should be. I think we should really be looking at what's going on underground. Pardon the pun. But I think we really should. We should be looking at what's going on, under the radar here. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. And I mean, some of the stuff, when I started unveiling some of the stuff earlier today, I was like, oh my God, this needs to be out there. And then this happens. So what I've got now may pale in comparison. It doesn't mean that I can't talk about it. I've got to talk about it. So you guys we're supposed to go live in the morning, but I don't know how we're going to go live in the morning and not deal with this elephant that's in the room. I don't know. But hopefully in a few minutes, when this cat gets on there, let's just go ahead and put it back over there and see if homeboy's back. So see if he's there. There he goes with the fist. That's all we got to see is that fist. Make America great again. Dude, I don't know who you are or what you've done with Mr. Naranga. I don't know where Mr. Orange Man went, but I can honestly tell you that ain't you. Just like the other cat, you were accusing of him not being him. You were accusing him of not being him. Yeah, that's what you were doing. You were accusing him of not being him. You guys, we have 1 minute. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and give Judge Joe Brown a couple of seconds here to tell you guys about his barbecue sauce. And then what we're going to do is come on right back. And by the time we come back, maybe this cat, since it's got 60 seconds to go, will be there. Hey everyone, it's me, Felicia, of the Lockhart Perspective and Headlines with a Voice. I want to tell you a little secret. This is what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore. I would go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, pour it inside of a bowl, put a whole bunch of different spices, a dash of brown sugar, a dash of maple, and a dash of mustard, stir it all around, and everybody would be like, oh my gosh, this is the best, this is the best. But I was exhausted after all of that, and a lot of times I couldn't remember how many dashes of what I put in it. But I don't have to do that anymore, because now I just go to Judge Joe Brown's website and I order his 3-pack of bottled barbecue sauce. It is by far the best, and I do mean the best barbecue sauce I've ever eaten. And when you go to his website and you order his 3-pack, you'll see exactly what I mean. Head on over to jjbbbq.com and order Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce. You'll be glad you did, and you're going to tell me about it. I know you will. Lockhart Perspective. All right, everybody. So we are back and we are waiting for Fox News to show up. I could also go to a couple of other channels, but I really don't think I want to, because I don't want to hear what CNN's got to say, because it's going to be rah, rah, rah. And these people are going to be rah, rah, rah. Everybody's going to be rah, rah, rah. But what we do want to do is we want to get a little insight here. Let's listen to what they're talking about. And not only listen to what they're talking about, we also want to be able to make an opinion about something, right? I mean, that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to make an opinion about something, but I definitely don't think it's going to sway what we think. I don't think it's going to change our ideology about any of this stuff at all. I think it's going to be right where it is right now, because this country's in trouble now. I mean, that was a bonehead move. And in tandem with being a bonehead move, it was a move that's going to cost us billions of dollars. It's going to cost us billions, I tell you. Not just a little bit. It's going to cost us a lot of money. Listen, I don't know whether anybody knows it, but I can give you some information dealing with Iran and dealing with Israel, I should say, more importantly, Israel, that the United States for decades has been padding Israel with weaponry and funds and monies, things that are already set aside in every single budget that we've done. We've had large blocks of money, huge amounts. Each president of the United States has had to set aside funding for Israel's protection. I don't know whether you know that. Yeah. Each president has set aside funding for the protection of Israel. So while we're waiting, let me let you know that since there was a foundational agreement since 1948, when the United States became one of the first countries to recognize Israel, the two nations have maintained a strategic alliance, but formal military aid started to ramp up around 1970, becoming a core national security investment through both Republican and Democratic presidencies. There's been annual funding commitments. Okay, here we go.
Enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Does anybody know how tall the vice president is? Is he like 6'7" or something? Because he was just taller than Trump right there, but I'll let that sit. And I can't believe any of the trash that he just said. It was really creepy, but I think we're all over it, right? I don't know what God he's talking about, you guys. I have no idea. I see all of your messages. I can't believe any of it. According to I have what Sandy just put up, and let me go on ahead and give you guys this story because I'm going to read this in closing. It's highlighted here because this is the portion of the story that I had to put in to get out. It is a live update from live blog, the live blog. It's already Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. This comes from the Times of Israel. It says Iranian state media claims targeted nuclear sites and their uranium stockpiles were previously evacuated. The time there is 4:08 a.m. It goes on to say that Iranian state media confirms that the Islamic Republic's Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordow nuclear sites were attacked by enemy strikes. The IRIB state broadcaster claims the sites, along with their enriched uranium stockpiles, were evacuated beforehand. I don't understand how anyone expects us to believe this, and this is coming from Israel, okay? I don't understand how anybody, that's not how any of this works. That ain't how none of this works, but okay, we're going to go ahead and rock with it if you say so. So they state that it was removed beforehand. Really? Really? Come on now, let's do the math. So the time frame that you are giving us here on June 22nd, your time, at 4:08 a.m., your time, you want us to believe that you got notification that says that they moved everything beforehand. They moved it all beforehand. We knew it was happening and we just moved it. Really? Seriously? Do you realize how much you would have had to move? That's lies. Those are lies. And I'm calling it like I said, that is a lie. There is absolutely no way that they did that or moved that, because I'm going to tell you something. It didn't have anything to do with moving it, baby. It had everything to do with its existence. It had everything to do with its existence. You're going to tell me that all three places you guys just moved it all. Where is that? Is it in the water like we saw you guys give us before when you told us about what was up with Iraq? How they were moving weapons of mass destruction? Where you showed us all of this, nighttime reconnaissance, where you guys had everybody moving around, showing us these ships or these vehicles, these vessels moving from shore, offshore to onshore, moving from the city into the shoreline, dropping stuff off. Is that what it was? What led so many people to go in through the war that you guys had? All of us go for. This cannot be true. And when you see three-headed goats walking around in a couple of, months here, all right, okay, that's going to let you know. So again, like I said earlier, this is, dual. It's got a couple of reasons why it matters. One of the main reasons why is because, they do want Depop in that area and everybody that's in that area. And that's how I know they didn't move it, because their goal is always to annihilate and take bodies out. So it wouldn't help you any if they just hit that and that was it. No, sir, no, ma'am. They did what they did because they knew the fallout would be great. The same way that Roy and I called it at the top of this week. And that was what we said. Chernobyl 2.0, Chernobyl 3.0. That is exactly what this is. It's got dual heads. This is a monster that's got a couple of heads. The other head is that, yes, it was to take out the ruling leadership there. That's what it was about. And then strut on back home like you never did anything. But see, I'm going to tell you something. You can only be a bully for so long, baby. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Wrong is wrong. They just went over there and did everything that they did to all of those people that they had under great surveillance for how many years? People think that the individuals that was across that border that they alleged, the Palestinians, that they alleged to have done what they did, they think that those people were able to come and go as they chose. They were not. They were under 24-hour surveillance. And the fence work that the Israelis have is so sophisticated that it can spot a mouse thousands of yards away from the fence. These people are surveilled day and night with curfew. And every idiot that thumps a Bible was running around saying, oh, this is just great. God is so good. Something is wrong with you. And if you don't like me telling you, baby, we need your seat. Move. We need your seat. I ain't scared of none of you. Go. Because that is so wicked to think that the bullying that's been going on in that entire region is okay and ordained by the true and living God. That is not true. That is not true. There ain't no way you're going to make me believe it because I know too much about him. This is going to be catastrophic, baby. Let me tell you something. Everybody who joins their hands with a bully always ends up sorry. And I'm going to say that right there. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so very much. I got to get off of this podcast right now. Because if I don't, y'all already know, those of you who really know me, and I'm putting your names out there right now, okay? Y'all who really know me, where mother sister at? Those of y'all who really know me, yeah, it's going to be on and popping here in another second. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. It's on the way. I feel it. I feel it, Rachel. I feel it, Frank. I feel it, Ahal. I feel it. So y'all know I got to get my butt off here. Okay? Because this is going to have a rippling effect that our children will definitely feel. Our children are going to feel this. Our grandchildren just might feel this. I don't see how financially we can take care of this. We're not being funded by Israel. We're funding Israel. Now, do you honestly think that people over here are going to take that kindly? You do have people of that descent rocking right here with us right now. All right, you guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with us for the past hour, exactly coming up on an hour here. I want you guys to keep looking at us and just keeping your eyes out for us, because as I stated, as we get more information, we're definitely going to be coming back and we're going to take a look at everything as it unfolds, but we're not going to do it from a place of bias. We're going to be very unbiased. We need an unbiased approach. We need the truth, because what the truth is a nice divider. See, the truth in and of itself divides because it divides the lies from the truth. And that's what we're going to look at here on the Lockhart Radio podcast, both on Headlines with a Voice. I want to thank everybody from Headlines with a Voice for joining us tonight as well. I want to thank everybody here at my namesake, the Lockhart Perspective, hanging out. All right, you guys, remember what we always say. I want you guys to make sure that you take care of yourself first. Take care of you, because if you don't, nobody else is going to do it. And if you do it, you'll be able to take care of everybody else. You see how that works? All right, I love each and every one of you guys. You all take care. Be blessed. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you